What's up, you guys? This is another episode of Petty on the Rocks. Oh, shit. I messed up. That's my other podcast. This is another episode of Healing from Trauma, also known as the HFT podcast. Okay, so pretty much, give me a second. I'm just sharing this podcast on my Facebook, and yeah, okay. Now that we got that out of the way, I know I really didn't say nothing funny, but I just wanted to make some sound effects. Noise. It is currently 5:18. I don't plan on talking to myself or you guys long. I just wanted to do an episode because I've had a lot of emotions erupting lately. So for starters, I wanted to do this episode in an attempt to continue to work on my craft and what I enjoy doing, and to be more active and less distracted. Blase, blue, blue. All right, so where do I begin? So as of today, well, technically yesterday I made the decision, but as of today, which is September 21st, I've made the conscious decision to limit. First of all, there's so many reasons why this episode is titled Enough. So, okay, back to what I was saying. To limit, and I know people, or I don't know, someone out there probably like, what the fudge? But anyway, I've made up in my mind that I am quitting, relieving myself of being a sex worker. Whew. So I know that there are many reasons that people do it. I am not frowning down upon it or anything like that, or even judging anyone who is continuously in that lifestyle. Me personally, this is for my mental detriment. Like, okay, so boom. I've been tugging with myself. Let's just get into it. This episode is titled Enough because I've just had enough. And matter of fact, I've had so much of enough. I am going to start another podcast called Enough. I don't know if it's going to be called Enough of This or Enough of That or just Enough, but enough of that, maybe. I don't know, but it's going to be, enough is going to be the main word, okay? Because what has been, I feel like, placed in my spirit or my heart is that it's enough for confusion. It's enough and it's time out, or maybe it'll be called Time Out Podcast. Maybe, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But the gist of it is enough of just being enough and enough of foolishness. So I've been just battling with myself, and if you don't know, now you know. Of course, I have a Pornhub, I have an OnlyFans, and things of that nature. My OnlyFans, I haven't posted anything in about a year. My Pornhub, it's probably been 4 years or 3 years. I don't know when. I would have to look back at my account to see when when's the last time I did a video, but it's been years for sure. And yesterday was the day I decided, like, I'm just fully ready to focus on whatever it is God has me here to do, whatever my purpose is. I want to fight for that place instead of the place I think I'm supposed to fight for. if that makes sense. So, in other words, it seems like for the longest I've been fighting for this unrealistic life, or this unrealistic version of myself that I don't even like. So boom. Every time, okay, let's go into how I even got into sex work. Basically, I got into sex work because at one point in my life I was easily influenced, and I'm gonna just say my daddy wasn't there. But no, I just didn't have the proper anti guidance, if that makes sense. Like, I was born and raised in church, and I say that loosely, but I'm so serious. Like, church. And I was so sheltered and restricted that I guess I just got a piece of fresh, sinful air and just went buck wild crazy. It reminds me of this episode of Rick and Morty where Morty is playing father to this monster that is that does nothing but cause destruction, and he's trying to love this monster and make this monster lovable, I guess, and show the monster the right way, but the monster was determined on self-destruction or world domination or whatever. And it was a part in this story where Morty basically, lies to the monster and tells the monster, like, look, you can't go outside. If you go outside, you're going to die because there's toxin air out there and whatever. So the monster basically was wreaking havoc in the house, but eventually found out that he was lied to. And so he went on to cause havoc and to wreak havoc and chaos and all that stuff. So I'm comparing myself to that. And the monster was sex work. And what I thought to be was what I saw, and that's what I kind of wanted. For instance, Charlie B. Hustle is a very, very, very good example. I seen this woman as a content creator / I think she was doing webcam, and I seen how she took off, right? I mean, she went from broadcasting from a couch in her mama's house, I believe, to wearing red bottoms, right? So, of course, the lustful and sinful part of me is like, you could do that. You could do that. I mean, she was an ordinary girl, and look what happened. But there was things that she possessed that I could not, which was dedication and commitment and just the focus on that. So someone asked me recently, like, oh, what's up with content or whatever. And my response was just like, I'm just not taking that path anymore. Because, now, don't get me wrong, will I still webcam? Possibly. But truth be told, I've been in this funk. This is how you know God is. He wants to move in your life, but he's not going to move in the direction you want. So it's like your car being in neutral, like you want it to do something, but it's not really, or let's say a slipping transmission, if you will. So anyway, I'm sitting here minding my business in misery and depression, and I'm just trying to push this sex work. I mean, push it. I was back to posting, all of this stuff that I stopped doing for a while, because I was in a relationship, and two, I've been wanting to get out of it. But anyway, I think I skipped the part I was trying to get to. My brain, you guys know, is everywhere. But the part I was getting to is the person asked about sex work. Remind you, sometimes the world will lead you to believe that you can only be one thing. And if you're not that one thing, then you're nothing. Or, it's just not meant to be. Well, or it's all or nothing, if you will. So basically I told him that it's the end of the road for me when it comes to pornography, because of, one, if it was meant for me to be in that lifestyle, that limelight, I would have been. I've been dabbling in sex work for about a decade. You get what I'm saying? So if that was meant for me, if that was supposed to be my career path, that would have been my career path. There's no way you could do something for a fucking decade and not be successful. Now, they tell you give anything about 5 to 7 years, and then, you should see a change in profit or whatever. Now, don't get me wrong. I've made lots and lots of money. I've clearly surely touched over $100,000 with my eyes closed. Now, what I got to show for it, I tell you all the time, not a goddamn thing. So let's go back. So, okay, I'm trying to, Lord, please give me the way to articulate and express myself without getting overwhelmed, because a lot of, I would say ADHD or anxiety or whatever it is, if you all haven't noticed, I could definitely go off of the railroad track very easily. Just a nudge and I'm off that bitch. I'm going to a different direction, and I want to attempt to stay on the right path of this podcast episode. Okay, so boom. So anyway, this is how you know that you need to change your life. You need to really, really seek God, or I'm going to say God. I don't know what everybody else believes in, but I believe in God. Now, you still got me out on that Christianity bull crap. I'm not really feeling that part. Fellowship, yes. God, yes. Jesus, yes. White hair, blue-eyed Jesus, not so much. Bible, everything being 100% as is or was to be, I don't know, because we're all human and we're all flawed. And you're telling me that these humans wrote this book perfectly? I think not. But anyway, this is not about that. What it's about is, I want this podcast to serve as an example of being able to transition and how awkward and uncomfortable it may be, but necessary. Okay? So for the last few months, I've just been feeling like crap, right? So then one part is like, oh, go back to selling coochie or go back to webcamming or whatever. I can't say for some reason. I know the goddamn reason my spirit is unsettled and not feeling it, because anytime it is, now going to work is different. Going to work, nobody really wants to do it, but you got to do it. It's a necessity. Sex work is not necessarily a necessity, but I understand and I get how you can get in a space, but I'm going to tell you how I believe in confirmation, and God will put things in your way for you to see them, like hurdles, if you will. Like, you know a hurdle when you see one. What are you going to do? Run through it or jump over it, right? So boom, I'm sitting here and I'm like, dang, like I'm stressed out. I'm tired. I'm broke. Jobs. I think my purpose of not having a job right now is just realizing that I need one and for now, and that it is not always in the best interest just to be a fly-by person. That's part of my learning aspect, because if you keep trashing things, like God keep giving you a nice house, and you keep trashing, it's like, what is he doing it for? So maybe if he gives you a box to live in, you'll appreciate that box, and then he'll go back to helping you with this mansion you want. Anywho, so boom, I've been on this weird path of sex work, no sex work, relationship, not relationship, half in, half out. You know, that lukewarm crap. And honestly, it's been freaking me up, y'all. Like, freaking my spirit up. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say it just dawned on me, but it made all the sense in the world today. Like, yo, you see the God's way or the highway. When you are designated for a certain destination, he's going to make sure you get there. God is the Uber, okay? And there's no stops. I mean, you can make stops, but it's going to cost you. And that's where we're at with it. Like, I done made a lot of stops in my GPS, okay? And it has done nothing but delay my arrival time. And it hasn't done anything but deter me from wanting to finish the freaking journey, because it's long as hell, because I've made it this long. And I don't know. But anyway, so back to the sex work. So yeah, I was easily influenced. I got influenced by people, by money, by the freedom at one point, I was so caught up that I just threw all my morals and values to the side. Everything I knew to believe in and to know better, I just said, frick it. So anyway, how you know enough is enough is you just have this unsettling desire that in void. It's like a desire in a void, like a desire to succeed, but the void that nothing can fill but God, and doing what it is you're supposed to do. So originally, I'm like, I'm gonna be this. Now, mind you, I've had opportunity to be in pornos, like actual productions, right? But I always decline, or I always get sheepish. And it's weird as hell because I put my own self out there, and I've definitely got amateur stuff going on. So why wouldn't I get out there professionally, like, And I've seen what being back to Charlie B. Hustle, I see what her determination or anybody's consistency can get you. But for some reason, I don't know if it's ADHD. I'm going to blame God and ADHD, because for some reason I can't finish it. I cannot. I can't finish this pornographic race. It's hard. I'm just like, more power to the people that are built for it. But I personally am not. And it's nothing. I'm just not. I don't think anyone was meant to, but it's the oldest profession, so I get it. But I don't think it was meant to be a longevity, like a long time type thing. I don't know. But anyway, so my unsettling recollection that this is where we're at. So boom, I know mentally that, or logically, I know logically that if I pop some cooter mama on the internet, no matter how attractive or unattractive I am, it can sell, right? But I've been in this rut. I mean, I don't even want to brush my teeth type situation. And even the days I do brush my teeth, I don't want to do my hair, or I don't want to do my makeup. And these are all part of the essentials of being a sex worker, because you're selling fantasy. Now, I've tried natural, I've tried dolled up. Dolled up works better, and that for me, sometimes natural's cool, but we all know, what it's about. Anyway, so boom, I'm doing what I think I'm supposed to be doing, and it just has got me nowhere, y'all. Like, nowhere. Like, bro, 10 years, almost 10 fucking years, and nothing to show for it. No friendships or meaningful friendships were built out. I got one person that I so coochie with, and this girl and me have been around each other for about that 10 years. Versus all the people, females, providers I've met during the time. Now, was I the problem? I doubt it, but hey, that's, everybody got their own story. But it's like, I'm just ready, and I'm opening my heart, my ears, my mind to what God has for me, because I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired as hell. And I know I can work a regular job. Do I want to work a regular job? No. Is it going to be slow money? Yes. Is it hard when you go from fast money to slower money? Yes, it is extremely hard. But this is the thing. What do I have to lose? What do I have to lose if I stay in that lifestyle? What do I have to gain if I stay in that lifestyle? What do I have to lose if I get out of that lifestyle? You get what I'm saying? Like, first of all, respect is a motherfucker. And it's hard as hell to get people to respect you as a black woman, let alone a black woman who's in sex work. That's like an oxymoron. That's like, what the fuck? It's impossible. Damn near. Like, they might tell you they respect you, but they really don't. Let's see. It's just a lot that goes into being a sex worker, mentally, physically, all of that. It's just a lot. So I'm at a standstill with myself, because one, I don't want to get myself ready and dressed for said activities. Two, I haven't produced anything worth a fucking sale, and I don't know how long. I couldn't tell y'all. And that's how I know that it has to be another way. And it has to be because, again, if you're doing something for 10 years and you haven't become a master in it, or mastered it, or have reaped what was worth 10 years of putting yourself out there, just give up. I'm sorry. I hate to say it like that. I'm sorry you have to hear it like that. but let it go. If it's not doing something constructive or positive within the society, your community, and you've been doing it, like if you've been selling weed for 10 years, bro, 10 years, and you still do not own a house, you still do not have any money saved up, you still do not possess any value or knowledgeable value, I don't know, just let the shit go. There's a person I've been talking, and then some people, it's a mental block, but I've been knowing this person since I was like 15, 16 years old, right? They've been selling weed since they've been selling weed. Time has passed by. This person's in their 30s and they still be trying to sell weed. Like 42-year-old, 45-year-old, 48-year-old, you still selling weed, 50-year-old. Just no, it's time. It is time to pick a different career path, something you can be proud and passionate about. Now, don't get me wrong. Sex work is work. And I give my hats to you ladies and gentlemen who is out there making $30,000 plus a month off of OnlyFans, to the ones that's out there really out grinding and getting it and been doing it for that long or not even that long. Shout out to y'all. But as for me and my black ass, I'm signing out, logging off, hitting the X, backing away, unplugging. I'm fucking done. I'm done. Now you might, you're done because the sales not selling. Yeah, and my brain ain't braining because, bro, I can't even, I can be broke 2 nickels on fucking 5 cents on in my bank account and 5 cents on motherfucking, what's that shit called? Cash App. I don't even know if you can have 5 cents on there. But the point is, I could be that low and not have any motivation, any want or desire to make content playing with myself. Or like, how many people be like, oh, let's do some content together, and I be acting like I'm a virgin, like, no, I'm good. Or I be saying outrageous prices that I know people ain't gonna pay because who the heck am I? That's what they're thinking. I know who I am, but they are thinking, well, who the heck are you? Yeah, because I'm making it unrealistic because I don't want to do it for real. Like, so today, again, back to these confirmations and signs, right? So if you know and don't know, I love me some T.S. Madison. Like, I love. And she inspired my Enough podcast because it's enough of the fuck shit and fuckery that we bring upon and among ourselves. And there's so many things I want to talk about that it doesn't even fit this platform because this is about just trying to get my shit together mentally, spiritually, physically, let alone, I want y'all to see where I'm at a year from now. I want to see where I'm at a year from now on this podcast, starting today. But anyway, back to T.S. Madison. I love me some her. So anyway, she was talking about basically like how she got her blessings. Now, I'm not telling you to serve God or to repent or to do anything religiously or anything. I'm not trying to be a Bible thumper or none of that. I'm just telling you what works for me, and what I would suggest is seeking the Creator and being tapped in with Him before anybody else. For sure. But anyway, and He will always give you what you're looking for sure. So I'm looking for the answer. I'm like, okay, God, like, I know I'm depressed. It's because I ain't got no job. All right, boom. But I also know I'm broke because I'm being lazy. Or am I? Like, everything I've asked or wanted from, I'm not going to say God, but anything I've wanted or desired without the effort as much I get, versus if I try to do it myself and put my faith and trust in man's dollar or man, it never works. It'd be like, okay, you might be doing all right, but then somehow, some way, it's like you can't. He will show you like you can't depend on trust on anybody. But anyway, so yeah, I also want to say to anybody who's thinking like, oh, I need to be a stripper to make some quick cash on, and I'm not talking down on strippers. If you got a big butt and you want to do that, at least put a time limit on it. That's all I'm saying. Put a expiration date on them cheeks as far as in public exposure, because I don't know what it is, but I don't feel the same like I did before. Before, I was very free and very okay with a lot of things that most people wouldn't be okay with. And I am just here to say I am surrendering this part of my life. There's a lot I need to surrender, but this part we're going to start slowly and start surely. And we're going to start here because, oh yeah, back to TS. See, I told y'all, railroad tracks. Okay, so I was going through I don't know, Lord, like, why do I feel like this? I'm so void. There's a void, there's a hole. Can't be filled, right? And mind you, even though I don't have a job, I don't really want for nothing. I mean, we eat every day. We smoke every day. We got water just about every day. When I say just about, I don't drink faucet water. So when I say just about, that means there's like one time we ran out of water and we devastated for like a day. But anyway, I don't have the necessities or the necessities that I should have. But I know it could be worse. I could be in jail, which that's not fun. That's terrible. I've been there, done that. I wouldn't suggest it for anybody. And yeah, anyway, back to TS. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry, but I apologize for my derailment of this conversation. Anyway, so boom, yeah. TS Madison was talking about how she got, that was my point. Okay. So she was talking about how, God has impacted her life, or like how he changed her life, because she basically said, I'm giving up this part of my life. And from her giving up that part of her life, she was like, one door closes, another one opens. So she gave up that part of her life. God blessed her with more, bigger, better. And I'm not saying I'm jumping ship because, I just think, no, I know right from wrong. I know better. Everything I've ever done up until this point has been all selfish, all self-appointed, self-motivated, self. Even when I was being used and abused by other people, it still resulted from me trying to help myself. Right? So anyway, I'm just at a point where I know it's God's way or the highway. And I've been walking in this highway for a while and I don't like it. I'm just not at ease. The anxiousness, the uncertainness, like I said, I don't feel the same way I feel. It was nothing before to expose myself and just get on the internet or just make videos and put my coochie all over Twitter. That was all fun and dandy at the time for me. And I know because there's people who be like, that was never cool. Or I don't give a fuck, bitch. This is my story. So back to what I was saying. Okay, so I came across T.S. Madison, and that what she said touched me as far as, okay, God, you're listening and you see, like, I needed to see that. Like, that was so inspirational. I just was like, okay, God, I get it. Okay. If she could do it, I could do it. Because she was making money, okay? Like, she was talking about them girls that was struggling in sex work while she was in sex work. They in sex work worrying about trying to be the prettiest sex worker, and she in sex work being the best worker she could be / business person. So I admire, I talk about her a lot, like to the point where if I'm watching her videos, people I know don't necessarily watch her content. I'm not saying they're transphobic. They just don't. They're not really podcast people or bloggers or nothing like that. But when I'm watching her stuff, they ask me, oh, you watching TS? Oh, is that TS Madison? Oh, that's TS. And it's just like, yo, if y'all only understood why I follow her, why I watch her. Because even though she's a trans woman, she's still inspirational. And she's still an instrument that God have used to touch people's lives. And it's so crazy because the podcast that I want to do, or I'm going to do, enough is talking about how there's enough of like, it should be enough of people judging people by their choices that were based on their survival or them, that's not affecting anybody else. Like, okay, if a person decides to sell cookies, and y'all know what I mean when I say cookies, we shouldn't hate a person because they decide to sell cookies. Now, if they're selling cookies on our block and we don't like that, there's there's a way to go about it, I feel. But at the end of the day, you never know what a person is going through and what a person may need. So at the end, because me, I started pondering back about old ways because I just felt like it was necessary. And it's never necessary. Like, never. I've seen stories where people are like, this is the only way they can eat. This is the only thing they know. This is all they've ever done and stuff. And I get that. But it's like, and that's another goddamn thing. People talk so much shit. That's another why enough is going to be enough. One, you are enough. And two, enough with the bullshit. That's basically what the gist of that podcast is about. Because what I've learned from T.S. Madison, people will reach and reach and reach in their back pocket to dig out hatred just because they're jealous or unhappy with themselves, or they just can't see you being blessed because whatever. And I am such a crybaby. I'm just sitting over here crying because I feel like I definitely want to do a video about it, but people all just uproar about, oh, trans women this and not real women this and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, here I am, a black woman, a black, quote unquote, cis woman, if you will. Because people, I don't know, got an infatuation on what everybody else want to do with themselves. But anyway, I was born a female. And it's a stigma that women, not all, but a lot of women, are homophobic or undercover homophobic, or they're saying that, like, I don't know how to explain it. All I know how to say is that I, as a black born female, was blessed by what a black trans female or trans woman had to say. And I want to share that with the world because even my old mom, like, I love her dearly and I know she loves her children unconditionally, right? And I know that she would, if she met T.S. Madison, she wouldn't misgender her, or she wouldn't play in her face. I don't feel my mother would be that disrespectful. However, when I tried to talk to my mom about God using people, and my mom is a firm believer in God, a firm believer that God can use people. But when I made the comment about how T.S. Madison was this, that, appraising her, like how she talks about God, how she is anointed, how she was called upon, despite what society may deem, what they say, unnatural or whatever the hell. And it's just like, bro, she is putting game out there that is receivable. It's like, how can you tell? Oh, so basically, what I'm trying to get at, I feel like the church has put that in the black community. Like, if you are not what the frick? They used to say women could be preachers. They used to say women could wear pants in church and all this other stuff. Now they got non-denominational church. You could damn near walk in there with a pantsuit and not be looked at. Meanwhile, my mom, who's a God-fearing woman, can't fathom that God would use a transgender woman. And I'm not speaking of, maybe she has some understanding, but what I got over our conversation. And it's like, we have to, what is enough? Like, we got to realize, like, if we want to talk about God and love, that should be inclusive. Like, that should be for everybody. Body as in people, humans. Like, I hate when people say white race, black race. We are a human race. There are different types of people, but it's like different types of rats or different types of monkey. A monkey's a monkey, goddamn. You're either a chimp or ape, but you're still classified as a monkey, right? Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but y'all get my fucking point. I just don't understand how we could preach love, peace, and happiness in church, except for the gays, except for people who identify as other than what they were born. Like, what kind of crap is that? How? So God only, I'm sure in the Bible. So I thought that God fooled with the common people, the prostitutes, the plagued, the diseased. So now you're telling me He'd only fool with the clean people. And what makes you clean? Being straight? That don't make no goddamn sense. That don't make no goddamn sense at all. Anyway, I just had to, I don't know. I just wanted to proclaim that Erica Jade is dead and Morris Teedy is dead. I'm actually about to delete the Instagram for Morris Teedy. So, yeah, even the Facebook, because what purpose do I have but temptation? And it's crazy now I'm all stopped up and shit. But anyway, that's because I'm low-key crying and I'm laying on my back and I'm just sitting here talking. And I'm just thinking like how good God really is and how much mercy and grace and leniency and love He really has. And I'm going to just speak on me right now because, yeah, I'm going to just talk about me right now because, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm so grateful that He still allows me. Like, He did take me out of this world before I got to make up my mind to serve for His purpose and serve Him. Now, does that mean I'm just going to be this A+ Christian? Hell no. I don't even, me, God, I got to see Him enough so I can understand Christianity because I don't even fuck with that for real. I fuck with knowing that there's a creator above all men and all things upon and above and beyond and below this earth. I'm okay with understanding that the universe is how God controls or communicates, if that makes sense. So it's like God will, okay, for instance, how He uses my pastor, well, I don't know, well, I could say my old pastor, he used to preach on, he preached on it one time. He was talking about how God uses the elements to warn us, even from like our bodies, our intuitions, our everything. And longer story short, I tell this story because this story, you can't make it up, and I still don't have an explanation for it, and to this day, it's something for me. So I'm in the club. I'll never forget it. This girl invited me out to the club. I didn't have no money for real. She was like, "Oh, I got you. I got you." I think she paid for me to get in, but she didn't pay for no drinks for real. She might have bought me one. I can't remember. But either way it go, I was just having a broke ass, sad ass time. And so I remember looking around and I'm seeing like everybody just, vibing with the music. But for some reason, and I don't know if you know me, I'm not saying I'm a dancer or nothing, but I like the two-step. I like to dance, especially when I'm drinking that liquor. I always say I might be one of them old aunties. They be on the dance floor. You be like, go sit down, grandma. Like, I get it, but yeah, it's like 4 in the afternoon and you on the dance floor. Like, okay, and that might be a little shady. I'm not saying you can't be enjoying your life, but that's just my point of view. Like, why are you at the bar? You're like 50 years old, two-stepping. But anyway, so I'm in the club, and this club don't even exist anymore. It's in Harrisburg downtown. I think it was the Dragonfly. Was it the Dragonfly? It might have been the Dragonfly. It's one of those clubs. So I'm down. I'm out. I'm like having a shitty ass time. I'm just looking around, and I'm just like, damn, nobody. I mean, I'm not feeling it. Like, I didn't feel nothing about the night. Like, I didn't feel confident. I wasn't like, and I never been wanting to go out like, oh, I need people in my face to make me feel good, or I gotta talk to somebody. It just was like I just wasn't there. So while I'm there, I'm not there, and the DJ comes out of the blue and just says, which side are you going to be on? You need to pick a side. And you going to be on the good side or you going to be on the other side?
And when I say that was so many years ago, I'm 34. That club shut down in my early 20s, I want to say. And maybe my mid-20s at the most. I don't know, but it's been years. It's been closed out for a long time. And I never forgot that. And God has talked to me, spoke to me, used other people to speak to me in so many different ways. I just was oblivious, or I don't know if I just didn't think my grace or mercy was going to run out. I don't know what the hell. But I know I've been foolish for a long time. And they say that God be caring for the fools and the babies or whatever. So I don't know how true. I'm assuming it's true, but because when I tell y'all, oh shit, sorry, I'm only here by God's grace and nothing more, nothing less. Because I've been through things that I didn't have to go through. I put myself through. I put myself around certain people and in certain spaces and places that I wouldn't have been. Now, the kicker to all of this is, where do I go next? Well, I just make it a point not to go out of my way to be displeasing to God. And again, does that mean I'm going to be an angel? Hell no. Am I still going to smoke weed? Absolutely. Until he removes that from my life. Now, I don't even know what to say, because I don't even want to speak backsliding into existence, because you got to make sure you be what you say what you be. So when I say I quit sex work, no more prostitution, no more selling content. Now, will I still webcam? I'm still a debate for that, because, again, my spirit and my flesh are and have been at war for a while now. And so my mind will say, yeah, you can hop on there and make a couple of dollars. But my body will be like, yeah, right. Well, who's going to do your eyebrows? Who's going to do your eyelashes? Like, it's not a, yeah, I don't know what it is. And I know what it is. I feel like it's God's his process, his cleansing process. Like, he can't utilize you any type of way. Well, he can, but I'm sure he much would rather not. Say you gotta be cleaned up to a T, but you gotta make the first step. Now, God dang, I'm sorry, y'all. Now, I just ask that if you know the word and you really are a child of God and you believe in him and you repent of your sins on a daily basis, to keep me in prayer. Because it's not easy being, I was about to say cheesy, but it's not easy transitioning. It is damn sure not easy having faith. It's not easy putting the work in. And one thing's for sure, faith without works is dead. So regardless if I quit everything today, if I don't get off my behind and make the conscious decision like I did mentally and physically or spiritually, not to do something, to do other things. Like, I was sitting around thinking, like, I'm an author. I am a whole author. And I have not completed any of my books. I have not even thinking about, God dang, writing any of my books. Like, I want to do comedy. How am I doing comedy and porn at the same time? Like, it's kind of impossible. Like, God will make you so uncomfortable that you ain't got no choice but to want to do better and do more. Because when I say I've never felt so hungry and empty at the same time, spiritually, physically, mentally. Like, I'm just tired of my old ways. I'm tired of getting the same result, which is nothing, or temporary behind happiness, or temporary momentarily being content. Like, that's not cool. And one of the things I read when I was in jail, and I think I shared this with y'all, and I'll share it with anybody, and I would suggest it, recommend it. A good read is Pursuit of Peace by Joyce Myers, because that book, when I say God had his hand on her and has his hand on her, he has his hand on her because, honey, when I tell you that book felt like she was talking to me, I felt like she was talking to me. I was so into that book that I think I shared this with y'all. When I noticed pages was missing, there was probably like 10 to 15 good pages missing out of that book. And it still felt like God didn't allow me to skip a beat, but it just tore my little butt up. I was so mad. Like, wait, what's next? Well, what did you say? What did you do? And it's like, I want to be that example for other people and myself, that I could be a person that is striving to do better and want to do better, practice doing better. Like, I'm not afraid to say it. One of my biggest inspirations is a black trans woman. Because I tell people, and I don't mean to like bring up her skeletons or not like that, but I just try to show people like, yo, this lady went from hooking to pornography to technically songwriting, like being on an album, on Beyonce's album, getting recognition in rooms that people would have never fathomed her being in. That even if I was in her shoes, I probably would have fathomed myself being in. And that's the problem. You gotta want more and practice wanting more. Like, y'all, I have been in the biggest rut and I just could not figure out why. I've been trying to sell quote unquote week cookies and couldn't figure out why they ain't selling, because I ain't never ever met a customer that did like my cookies week. So I was sitting here just wondering, okay, what does this mean? And I'm not saying that you should wait until your back is against the wall to want to serve God or want to live your life chasing after or allow yourself to be used for his purpose. Because that's ultimately what it... Why do y'all think we here? Y'all think we here to be what? Why? Like, really think about it. Why are you here? If you have children, you are here to be an example for your children. Oftentimes I hear... Oh my gosh, I can't breathe. Oftentimes I hear artists say, you know, I'm not an example, I'm not a role model or whatever, because, you know, whatever. And it's just like, well, I know even if you don't have kids or you don't care about being a role model to your kids, well, if you don't care about being a role model to your kids, then I can see you just don't give a fuck. But when it comes down to people who... I'm so sorry, y'all. People who don't have... I'm getting mad at myself for doing it. I kind of want to sit up, but I'm not. But yeah, people that do not have children that feel this way. It's like, well, what about your nieces? What about your nephews? And my podcast called Enough, or Enough of That, whatever I decide to call it. We go, like, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, do me a favor. Take out the anger and the bitterness. Now, granted, I do not agree with everything this man said. And I don't agree with everything his followers say, because some of them really are some ignorant ass motherfuckers. I mean, some of the comments they be saying like, "Oh yeah, black women are the worst," and I look right past black women and blah blah blah. Like, that shit's okay. It may be true, but it's also hurtful and fucked up. Like, you don't like roaches, but you don't hear people just talking about them. Oh, I hate these roaches. These roaches are roaches and roaches. I can't stand the brown ones, the black ones, the big ones, the little ones. I can't stand roaches. You don't hear that. You don't hear it, but you know that nobody likes roaches. So why can't we do that with black women or people in period? If you just don't like them, just don't, like, why you gotta announce this shit? Why you gotta make it a publicized frick show? So that's the one thing I don't like about that person, is he do allow his commenters to go a little crazy on a black woman hate button. But I'm gonna let them have that, because us as black women sometimes, or what, majority of the time I see, we hate ourselves. We hate people that look like us. So I'll get at a pass. But anyway, this person I'm talking about, when I first stumbled across their content, I was so closed-minded, so angry, so defensive. Everything that this man was saying, I was a reflection of. Even when Lauryn Hill sung about, we talk about being so real and so authentic and people taking our culture, but we the first ones to run around with pressed out hair because we want to be a certain way. And we're the first ones to go to the Koreans, or I'm sorry, the Asian descent, who you know what I'm trying to say, to buy our hair that's not our hair and our nails. All this stuff. And Tommy Sotomayor, I'm telling you, he used to get under my goddamn skin, honey. I don't agree with him using it. I don't like the word trannies. I don't like that, and I had to unlike a post he made because I agree with everything he said up until he said and trannies. I was like, oh God, that's so different from me saying y'all white motherfuckers, or y'all black bitches, or y'all Spanish speaking spick bitches, or whatever. Y'all would have been mad. It's cancel season, so the same shit. But anyway, so I used to really dislike this Sotomayor guy. I was like, how dare he? All the insults he say that we would say, I've said. Oh, you got a black mama. Oh, you hate black women. Oh, you this. Oh, you that. Kind of find out he got a black baby mama. 2, like he said, he was raised by black women. All he know is black women because that's all he's ever dealt with. I'm assuming up until a certain point. And to that I say, I get it. I understand it. It's cool, but it's not cool. Or it's cool when they do it. It's probably when I do it. What black women are the most critical women against other black women I've ever seen in my life. I was on Twitter, and this black girl who is clearly black. I mean, even if she's mixed up, she's black. She would be identified as black. Just going in talking about, yeah, you darkies and all this stuff. I'm like, what the hell? Is she not a black woman? And there's actually people who think it's okay. I talked about Queen Op and her mental and physical abuse to Michelle. And there's people who think that that's okay. Talked about, it's... The Enough podcast is going to be one of those podcasts where we going to talk about it. And we going to really talk about it. You know what I want to talk about on the Enough podcast? The goddamn oblong, long, drawn out to the curb, from the house to the curb as edges. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them. Because, and it's not because, oh, you are old. Because another thing, y'all always want to say somebody hating or somebody's old. And it's like, nah. Because even old or young, baby hair is just so dramatic nowadays. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about on the episode of Enough. Because I'm sick of this shit. And as a black woman, I'm sick of this shit. Everybody got the bust down or the middle bust down or the goddamn side part with the little swoosh on the side. And then the baby hair is the compliment or fucking decorate the wig lace. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of it. I've been walking around. Don't argue with me about my... I swear to God, y'all would like it. I'll be on live. I'll be on there with my afro or whatever. And the nigga will say, oh, why ain't your hair done? Or you need to get your hair done. But my first response is, why the fuck do you feel my hair ain't done? Because this is how it grow out of my scalp. Because it ain't cooped up for you enough. Because it's not fluffy enough. Because it's not long enough. Straight enough. Thin enough. What is it? Because to be honest, I got the thinnest 4C hair I've ever seen in my life. But that's no hair nor there. I got good hair. If you got hair and you got a full hairline, you got a full head of hair, God forbid, I believe I have alopecia. Pretty positive about that. But anyway, that should be considered good hair. Long as you no offense to us alopecia people, or people that suffer from bell pattern baldness, or any type of hair loss thing. But if you got a full head of hair, honey, you got a good head of hair. That's what we should start normalizing. It shouldn't be, oh, your hair got to be straight or silky or curly, silky pattern or Malaysian wave to be good. Like, that's bullshit. Enough of that shit. Enough of, oh, we got to compete and compare. Y'all know who I love? I don't know this lady, but who I admire, another person I admire? Coi Leray. I admire her because she is part of the skinny community. And I don't know how long it's going to last. But I appreciate her keeping that image as long as she has and being vocal about focus on my art and me versus my body shape, lack thereof, if you will, because that's what you guys, I've seen the comments. They're fucked up. The girl can dance. She can rap. I think she can sing a little. But yet still, you see a comment talking about how bony she is. And it's just like, damn, like, it's just enough of that shit. But yeah, I would talk about, maybe my first episode of Enough, I'll talk about enough with the inner battles. Because, baby, when I tell you, this demon is heavy. This nigga weigh about 800 pounds. And he been laying on me thick. And I just see God to remove him and his imps. All of the things that just... Yeah. And honestly, this world have come so vain and so self-absorbed. It's hard to focus on God. It's hard to focus on what you should be doing. Like, I've literally sat here and thought about it. Like, what was I doing that brought me peace and happiness? You know what brought me peace and happiness? Being in church. Even though I know church can be messy and fucked up and nasty. Because, baby, it just can't be all of that. So, I get it, but I understand the necessity of church. And at the end of the day, I feel like we all need to be a part of some type of church. If it's my favorite YouTube church is Transformation Church. I'm about to start going. I can't remember the name of this church, but I'm about to start going to this church that I was introduced to, and if God's will, I would like to be over their social media platform as far as when we have service, record the word and stuff like that. Because at my old church, they allowed me to do that, and there were people watching my live that was in jail. There's people watching my live strictly to see church content. That was like, I came to your live because I knew you was in church. I used to do biblical Wednesdays. That brought me joy because that was fun. There was a lot of things I used to do that was, in spite of my distractions and temptations and stuff, I was focused on the betterment of my life and my spirit. And that's where I was the most happiest. Now, I've been in survival mode of the fittest of how much money can I make and how am I going to spend it, or making money just to spend it. And it's like, yeah, no, this ain't working. So it's time out for the bullshit. Then you gotta, when you do something and you know you would, like, I used to smoke cigarettes, and I tell people all the time, like, that is a testimony, okay? Because I've met a lot of people that cannot put the cigarette down, that is very hard for them. So God allowed me to have that free will, that much control. I thank him every day. Maybe not every day, I lie. Okay, Jesus, please forgive me. But I thank him when I think about it. Even when it comes down to Coke. You know how much free Coke I was offered after I quit? So it's one of those things where you have to make your mind up to whatever it is you want to do it and then execute it. Because if you don't, you're going to be in a limbo, or you're going to feel incomplete because it's feel like there's something you should be doing, want to do, but you're not doing. Now, cigarettes, I don't know how I came to have it. I'm going to just say God, but I was grateful. Coke, grateful. The sex work, same thing, because, like, I just had to take myself serious, bro. Like, I know that it could be very time-consuming, mentally, spiritually. Matter of fact, this is what I did. This is how I know I'm serious, right? I've been posting for the last week. I be posting. And even when I get phone calls, I be on some bull crap. I be just like, that feeling of anxiety pop back up. All of the bad feelings pop up So I was like, you know what? I talked to a lady at this church that I'm gonna start going to. I watched T.S. Madison talk about how she put one thing down and God placed something else in her lap. And I watched, it was a YouTuber, I can't remember her name, but she's 19 years old, and she was just talking about, and she inspired me too. She was talking about how God basically, he took her away, and it was like a video she put together. So it showed her smoking weed, it showed her drinking. And it basically, the song in the background was talking about how because of God, and she changed her life. And I'm like, a lot of times our own fears, the devil put the stupidest stuff in your head. And then let me put this out there. A friend of mine basically broke something down like we're our own devil. Like we are here to experience Christ-like experience. We're here to uplift, to love, to understand, and all of that, right? And to receive it. However, the world is so selfish. The world is so hell-bent on overcoming other people and other things. Or, woe is me, petty party. I got to be a terrible person because life isn't going my way. Oh, I got to be a terrible person because I had a heartbreaking. Oh, I'll be a terrible person because that's all I know how to be. Or it's I'm being a terrible person because that's the only way, I could get through life, whatever. You got to make a decision to not be the things that you dislike. Like, I hated liars, but I will lie. I hated thieves. Now, I don't steal. I will say that, but I have. I dislike I dislike loud people. And a lot of times I could be loud and wrong. So it's like every day, my first, I would say, step 101 tip 101 to a life-changing scenario. First of all, think about where you're at and what you're doing, and how well you're doing and what you're doing. Now, if you're doing something positive and it's not going well, don't give up. I don't care if it takes 20 years. But if you're doing fuck shit and you feel some type of resistance within yourself, this is all you got to do. Ask God to help you. Literally. I'm like, God, please help me. Like, I ask God that because I know I need him, right? And he will allow things to line up in your life, like this podcast. Maybe somebody caught a part of the podcast that they could use, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you. No promises. I'm doing this podcast. I can't even say more for me, but when I started out, that's what it was for. Now, not saying now because I'm starting to change of my life, but I feel like at the moment in time, I've always said this though. Oh, shish. I've always said this though. I wanted this platform to be a resource. Like, as if you're going to the library, you're picking out shit what not to do. I mean, you did want to read about shit what not to do, like dumb ways to die. Yeah, I want it to be one of those things and a testimonial type situation, because when I tell you God is capable of all things, and some of the majority of most of the happiest moments in my life were when I was seeking God, when I was actively seeking God, actively seeking peace, actively involved with his work or will. Whether that was talking to people, being an usher, whatever. And y'all, me talking out of my mouth, I'm just normal, but not breathing out of my nose is really bugging me. And I'm trying to talk to y'all. I got tears falling down my eyes. Part is because I'm sleepy, and I'm happy. I'm not really sad. It's just a feeling of like, it's like when you don't go to church for a long time and then you go back. Oh my goodness, I can't breathe. You go back and then the pastor says something that got gave him to deliver, and it sounds like he's talking to you, so you get all watery-eyed and teary-eyed. Like, I just want to say, maybe it's my spirit's tired, but also she's happy because I'm really choosing to make a change. I deleted my my posts or my advertisements, if you will. I am going to delete the Mars TD webpage. Instagram. I'm going to delete the Mars TD Love. Mars Love off of Facebook. I'm going to start this cleanse because I've made up in my mind today that I would have served the Lord, and I'm okay with that because I was fighting for a while within myself, and I didn't even notice it until I realized like where my time is going into, what I put out, what I put in, and I'm not putting in enough for God, and that's why I'm feeling like this. Like it's one of those things where it's like they say, more of you and less of me. That's a real thing. Like I ask God, I need, please take out this lustfulness, this indecisiveness, this procrastination, this fear, this failure, the failure to fear, all of that. Like I needed God. And again, let's start from the top. How are we going to make ourselves better? By wanting better, by acting better, doing better. Okay? It's no remedy to it. It's something you got to do. So that's what I'm doing. As far as the people being out of my life, I thank God for removing the distractions. I thank God for the clarity. I thank God for the peace that comes with, because a lot of times ourselves, the devil, will try to worry ourselves to death about something we can't do shit about, or something that is really irrelevant. Like, why should, like, y'all, I was literally having a conversation, mentally more so, about what people would think if I talked about God more, what people would think if I decided to turn my life more towards Him and acknowledging Him more, just being more Christ-like, that to my understanding. And it's hard because, one, there's some people that will never get it or respect it, and two, it's just hard. It's, again, transitioning is always hard. I've never met anybody who had easy transitions unless they was doing a story on TikTok. Like, it's hard. So I'm about to end this because I'm sleepy, at least I think, and I've been talking for a while. Just love yourself. Love yourself enough that when someone else loves you, it's additional and not mandatory. It's not all you got. It's not, what you say, squeezing cheese out of a packet. Yeah, I'm sleepy because that didn't even make sense, I don't think. Anyway, love yourself, respect yourself, and it's okay to say no. It's okay to put yourself away from drama and people that bring you anxiety. Like, the one thing I can say, for majority of my life as of recently and a while, I don't have any drama. Once I cut off the people that were like decaying apples from a tree, I haven't had those problems. But then it shifted to different problems, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think I'm rambling out because I definitely get sleepy. I don't even remember the last thing I just said, kind of. So I'm going to end this podcast with the I love y'all, but oh shit. I'm going to end this podcast. I'm going to end this podcast with I love y'all, but Jesus love y'all best. And to stay up and stay true to yourself and never, ever, 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 ever be ashamed of God. Now, if you serve that wacky tobacco God, if you serve the Almighty, the peacemaker, the lover, the Father, the Spirit, you get wrong boy. Yeah. But y'all be easy. And, yeah. Set boundaries. That's the other thing. Boundaries. 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 All right, y'all. And make sure y'all look up the Healing from Trauma podcast. I think you can Google it, but you can for sure put it in Petty on the Rocks. I'm sorry, damn, I'm plugging it again. You can for sure put Healing from Trauma on in Google or whatever platform, and it should pop up. And that's all, folks.